Hi, welcome to this week's dynamic practice. I'm calling it solar flare, and a lot of the cues are going to be geared toward lower abdomen and the pyramidalis muscle. So I'll put a slide up so you can see where the pyramidalis is, you can see where the lower abdomen is. It's basically our rectus abdominis is the six-pack muscles. It's basically the bottom two packs. So it's a lot of, we're going to draw the navel in quite often, and then the cue is going to be to lift the pubic bone. So here's a rough drawing of the hip bones. So right here in the middle of the pubic bone, there's going to be the navel. This is a little bit high, but the navel is going to be drawing inward from all directions, and that's going to help lift the pubic bone toward the navel. So it's going to be a little bit of a tilt, and my hope is that combined with an engagement in our lower back creates this structure and support from our lower abdomen, and feels like what in yoga is called Uddiyana Bandha, which means like a flying upward. It's like an unlocking of energy and a rising up. So my hope is this makes the lower abdomen feel very comfortable and supportive for your upper abdomen, lungs, and head. I do want to point out that since more or less the hip bones, the two ilia, and the sacrum, since they all kind of move in tandem, they don't really move counter to one another too much. When we're lifting up the pubic bone, the hip pointers are also lifting up as well. So I'll have you put your hands on the hip pointers and you can feel that. Just know it's the same movement, just analyzed from a different part of the bone. Okay? Great. So for today, please have a strap at the ready. We'll be balancing on one foot, and so if you would like some wall space or a piece of furniture that doesn't move to assist you in your balance, and have one block at the ready. If you do have two blocks, you don't need them, but there's a couple interesting variations that we can take with two blocks. So if you have two blocks, that's fine. If not, no worries. I will strike this and let's get started. Okay, so please lie on the back. You can lie face up, feet flat on the floor. All right. And so for here, we'll start right away with the hands on the hip pointers. So you can feel where the hips go as we move through this. So the inhale is just relaxed. So take a deep breath in, breathe into belly. And then exhale, and as you exhale, draw your navel in and draw your pubic bone toward your belly. And you can feel the hip pointers move as well. Inhale, relax, breathe into belly. Exhale, draw navel in and draw pubic bone toward belly. And repeat that move several times. And so you can always think of pubic bone, but also notice that the hips as a whole will move when you do this. And my hope is that you feel the engagement in the bottom of your rectus muscles, your abdominal group, and the drawing of the pubic bone toward belly, toward belly button, toward navel center. Feels like a supportive engagement for lower abdomen. Okay? So you're doing this at the pace of your breathing. Okay? A deep breath in the belly. Exhale, especially toward bottom of exhale, draw belly in, draw pubic bone in, and we're going to add, inhale, take a deep breath in. Exhale, do the belly thing, do the pubic bone thing, and lift one foot just a millimeter off the floor. And that also is psoas work. As you inhale, place your feet on the floor, breathe into abdomen, exhale, navel draws in, feel pubic bone draw toward belly button, and lift your other foot, just a millimeter. And try going back and forth like this several times. We're adding some psoas work, and my hope is we can distinguish abdominal work from the psoas work, the lifting of the leg. It's a different muscle. Exhaling, belly in, pubic bone toward navel. You lift the foot. Both feet on the floor as you breathe into belly. Exhale, navel in, pubic bone toward belly button. Lift your other foot. Okay, very good. And then for the last one, keep both feet down, draw navel in, pubic bone toward belly, and from there you release. All right, great. So from here, please take your left thigh on top of your right thigh, And as you inhale, you're going to drop your knees to the left. And so this invites a twist into the spine. And I also invite you to arch your back a little bit here. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, come back to center. And let's do just that move one more time. Take a deep breath in. And exhale as you come back to center, draw your navel in and draw your pubic bone toward belly button. And so this is going to be done several times with the breath. Inhale, you breathe into belly, knees drop out the side and you can arch your spine. And then exhale, you come back to center. At the bottom of your exhale, draw navel in, press low back in the floor. That's the pubic bone drawing in, and you feel the engagement of lower abdomen. So it's a pretty dynamic practice here for spine. And for the muscles of our lower abdomen and the muscles of our low back. So it's a twisting extension as you inhale. Exhale, you come to center, low back into the ground, draw navel down, pubic bone draws toward belly. And go back and forth like this. This is option number one. Exhale, if you'd like to include lifting, now there's just one foot on the floor, right? Because our legs are crossed. If you lift the foot just a millimeter off the floor, and then you place the foot on the floor, drop your knees out to the side, that's inhale. Exhale, come to center, navel in, pubic bone in, and you, at the bottom of your exhale, also lift your foot up just a millimeter, and go back and forth like this another few times. Okay, very good. So next, exhale, pubic bone inward toward belly, lift your foot. Okay, great. And then unlace your legs. Take a deep breath. If the shoulders are reacting or your head's relaxing, or your head's reacting, relax them. And let's change the lacing of your legs. Please take your right thigh on top of your left thigh. As you inhale, you're going to drop your knees to the right. You can also arch your low back, so squeeze the muscles in your lower back. And then exhale, you come to center, press low back into ground, draw navel in, and pubic bone draws toward belly button. And then you inhale, drop the knees out to the side again. It's a slight arch of your spine, breathe in the belly. Exhale, at the bottom of it, draw your navel in, pubic bone toward belly. All right, and go back and forth like this a few times. And this could be your practice. Again, this is already really dynamic for the spine and the engagements in lower abdomen. If you'd like to include a little more load bearing, you draw belly in, press low back down, pubic bone in, and then you lift the foot that's on the floor just a millimeter off the floor. Lower the foot down, relax your knees out to the sides, you arch your back. Come back to midline, low back down, draw your belly down, draw pubic bone in toward belly, and lift your foot. And go back and forth like this a few more times. It doesn't matter how far the knees go out. It does matter. This is more subtle body work these are subtle movements. They don't have to be big movements. So it's really about getting into the finer details. So you can see as the pubic bone draws in, that's your abdominal muscles and pyramidalis. And as you lift your foot, you can feel your psoas come online. And go back and forth like this another few times. Okay, from there, one last lift of your foot if you're doing that option. And then from there, unlace your legs, feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in the belly. Okay, right ankle now on top of left thigh. And you're first going to draw the whole thing in. So you can reach through your legs with the right ankle on top. I'm holding my left hamstring or my left shin, and I'm drawing the whole thing in. Okay, so a couple breaths here. You can breathe into low back. I'm hoping you're getting some kind of initial release on the outside leg, outside hip, on the right side. All right, so take 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. Take a deep breath in, And now exhale, you're gonna draw your navel in, draw your pubic bone toward the belly button, and now you're gonna hold that engagement while you keep breathing. So now we're gonna start to distinguish our breathing muscles from our lower abdominals. Okay? Because you're drawing the navel in, because you're drawing the pubic bone in, see if you can let go of your legs and hold this position with the power of both your psoas and your lower abdomen, and breathe. And if you'd like to give yourself resistance, you can gently press your hands into your right knee and your right foot, but keep your belly drawn in, pubic bone toward belly button. You might feel your tailbone scoop up a little bit, that's fine. And offer some resistance here, another few breaths. Okay, great. And then from there, left foot on the floor, right foot on the floor. And let's switch. Left ankle on top of right thigh. Hug the whole thing in. Hands either hold your right hamstring, or you can reach further and take a hold of your shin. Okay, so this is more passive. The arms are doing some work, and that's to get an initial stretch on the outside of our left leg, left hip, perhaps in low back. And hug your knees in as much as feels comfortable. Hug your legs in as much as feels comfortable. Breathe once or twice more into your low back. And now we're going to activate the lower abs and pyramidalis. Draw your belly inward and then draw your pubic bone toward your belly button. So pubic bone in, you can also feel your hip pointers move. And then from there, with that engagement, you're then letting go. Okay? And that's option number one, is the hands can relax by your sides, and you can focus on navel toward the floor, low back into the floor, and pubic bone toward belly button. And you can either stay here, or if you want to offer yourself some resistance, you're trying to press your left knee and foot forward. I guess in this orientation, sort of up. And the lower abdomen, pyramidalis, and psoas are all resisting that. Now, they are consistently engaged. See how much you can breathe. So we can start to decouple our breath work from this lower abdominal work. So your lower abdomen can be engaged, and you can take thoughtful, big breath. And one last time here, take a deep breath in. All right, great. And right foot on the floor and left foot on the floor. Take a deep breath in, find your strap. All right, and then from here, you're gonna take the strap around your left foot. The left leg is gonna go up in the air, and I would take a loop. I would make it a loop. And hold it with both hands, like that. Or if you don't have a loop, just have a strap that you're holding with both hands. And then from here, right ankle on top of left leg. All right, so we have sort of an upward facing half bound lotus forward fold. So first big hamstring stretch of the day. As best you can, straighten your left leg. As best you can, press your heel up and open your toes. All right, take a deep breath in here, and then exhale, draw your navel in and draw your pubic bone toward your belly button. Okay, and you might have seen it if you're looking, but the legs are going to shift a little bit closer over your head space. And then from here, you keep that work in your lower abdomen, and from here, you're going to start crawling up the strap, and maybe you can reach the foot. You don't have to reach the foot, okay? But the whole time, so now we're using our upper abdominals as well as our lower abdominals. Okay, so you're reaching up as high as you can. Keep pubic bone drawn in, keep navel drawn in, and then from here, once you sort of like reach up as high as you can go, from here, maintain your position, but let go of the strap. And from here, you're actually sort of like reaching your fingers up, 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 up. So lower abdominals are working, pyramidalis is working, upper abdominals are working, and breathe as much as you can. Take as deep a breath as you can. On your next exhale, lift one more set of ribs off the floor, and twice more. Take a deep breath in, Big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. You can remove the strap. Left foot down, right foot down. Take a breather, breathe in the belly. Okay, and then please take strap around your right foot. Right leg up in the air. Left foot comes across right thigh. So we have an upward facing half lotus. All right, and so first big stretch in the right leg, back of the right leg today. Hamstrings, calves. You can straighten the leg as much as you'd like. Press your heel up and open your toes to open the soles of our feet. All right, so once you get that form, as you inhale, take a deep breath in. Big exhale, navel draws in. And I think you know what's coming. Pubic bone draws toward belly button. That will tilt your legs a little bit further over your head space. All right, now keep that engagement in the lower abdomen, pyramidalis. And from here, you're going to start to crawl up the strap. All right, so this is much more of a rounding of the spine. You can also, as you're stretching out the back, you're going to feel your upper abdominals come online, helping you support this pose. Okay, so you can hold the foot if you'd like, but keep the pubic bone drawing in. All right, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of the strap, keep the form. So now you're using psoas, lower abdominals, upper abdominals. And you keep the form, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, see if you can lift one more set of ribs off the floor. A little more work in upper abs. All right, pubic bone toward belly, belly toward the floor, fingers up toward the ceiling, and 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. Take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And then exhale from there, release. All right, great. Take your feet on the floor. Inhale, arch your back, take a deep breath in the belly. Exhale, draw your navel into the floor. Feel pubic bone draw in as well. And inhale, arch your back, take a deep inhale. And exhale, belly down, pubic bone toward navel. Very good. Okay, great. And then so let's come up to hands and knees, and we'll start with a cat-cow. There's many things you can focus on in cat-cow, including like upper back, shoulders. But for today, the focus here is as you take your pubic bone back and up, tailbone back and up, you're going to be able to squeeze the muscles in your lower back, right? So that's spinal extension. And as you come into cat, the same cues. Navel draws in, and it's almost like you're drawing the pubic bones up toward the ceiling. The glutes will slide down a little bit, but really it's like focus on the pubic bone, up, 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 up. And you go back and forth like this. So this one, inhale, pubic bone goes back, tailbone lifts. Just to feel the muscles in the back of your spine work. Exhale, navel draws in, pubic bone draws up toward belly. And go back and forth like that a few times. Okay, great. So now that you have that different orientation figured out, you're going to take one leg back, opposite arm forward. Okay. So what's left on the ground, you can have your back toes curled under or point them back, whatever feels more familiar to you. Okay. From here, you drive your heel back, reach your fingertips forward, take a huge inhale here, back body engages a little bit. And then as you exhale, draw your elbow and your knee toward one another. They can touch if you'd like. And you repeat this several times. Inhale, back body cross-functional engages. Exhale, as your elbow and knee come together, draw your belly in. Pubic bone helps lift your knee. And you go back and forth like this a few more times. Deep breath in. Exhale, belly in, pubic bone toward belly button. Deep breath in, big exhale. You get the pyramidalis and lower abdomen. Focus there. One last time. Back body squeezes. Exhale, front of abs squeeze, pubic bone in, and then you can take all 4 limbs on the floor. All right, very good. And then we're going to take the rest of the limbs forward and back. So other arm forward, opposite leg back. We pause here for the moment. Neutral spine. You can feel the shoulder blades squeeze in. The opposite glute works. And you're going to go into a back bend here. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bring your elbow toward your knee. Also bring your knee toward your elbow. Take a deep breath in. So, of course, the focus is not going to be on the arms as much as it's going to be the belly drawing in, pubic bone draws up, and you can focus on that. So it doesn't mean no other muscles are working. Drawing the knee in is psoas work for sure, but that can be facilitated by the navel drawn in, that Uddiyana Bandha, that's upward flying, pubic bone lifting up, and go back and forth like this. Let's do it 2 more times. Exhale, belly in, pubic bone up. Take a deep breath in, go for the expanse, back bend. Exhale, go for this collection and lift. All right, very good. So from hands and knees, please take a downward facing dog. Curl your toes under. And from here, bend your knees to start. And I'd like you to get the pubic bone back and up as far as you can. All right, so nice expansive abdomen. The lower back's working. And then see if you can keep that engagement as you press your heels back. Heels don't necessarily have to go to the floor. And there's 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. All right, very good. Come to the floor. You're gonna lie belly down. And we'll get back up into, we'll go into downward facing dog and plank. But I think this is very helpful to be on the floor and focus on what the legs are doing in plank. You're gonna curl your toes under and bolt your heels back. So in a lot of my classes, I say slide your glutes back. That's actually the sort of opposite, it's just the other side of the same coin. So your glutes are going to go back, but in this for this sequence today, draw your navel in a little bit, and it's like you're trying to slide your pubic bone forward along the mat. Okay, so that's called posterior tilt of the hips. Your glutes also slide back, like they have to happen at the same time. But see if you can find that engagement of the pyramidalis, lower abdominals there. Heels press back. Pubic bone presses down into the floor, and it's like pubic bone's trying to slide forward on the mat. And very good, so we got that. From here, you're going to keep that engagement in your legs and lift up into a plank. Okay, so your heels are pressing back. The glutes slide back, but really feel the navel drawn in, and it's like the pubic bone's trying to slide forward. My hope is when that happens, like almost like the lungs kind of peek forward a little more. So you're inhaling into plank, and on exhale, you're lifting your pubic bone now back into downward facing dog. And then to come into plank, it's that you keep your heels pressing back, and you're drawing your belly in, and pubic bone sliding toward belly into plank, and then pubic bone goes back into downward facing dog. You go back and forth like this another few times, keeping the focus on the pubic bone going back in downward facing dog. And then the navel stays drawn in, pubic bone forward toward belly button in plank. All right. Very good. So one last time in plank. And then one last time in downward facing dog. And then bend your knees, step up to the top of the mat. And let's come up into Tadasana. So basic standing pose. Okay. We'll get a couple sun salutation A's in here, or at least modified versions. But from here, the heels drive through the floor, right? And just a little bit of navel drawn in, and the pubic bone's gonna lift a little bit. Now, if you do that as hard as we've been doing it, it tends to round the back. So this is really actually a pairing of these two cues, of the pubic bone drawing up, but also the muscles in your lower back drawing in at the same time. And my hope is that feels like there's a nice structure in lower abdomen, the lungs get lighter, that to sort of honor that sort of flying upwardness that this provides. Okay, so we'll sort of keep that engaged gently the whole time. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Huge inhale here. And then exhale, it's almost like sort of tilting a bowl of water back. Pubic bone goes back as you forward fold. And you keep your pubic bone back, squeeze the muscles in your lower back as you inhale. And then exhale, step back into plank and hold plank for the inhale. Feel the navel drawn in and the pubic bone slides slightly forward. Hopefully it feels like the lungs kind of pop forward. Exhale, lower down to the floor. Tops of feet on the floor. Pubic bone sort of leads the way forward. Pubic bone forward to lift your lungs forward in upward facing dog. And then the pubic bone swoops back into downward facing dog. All right, so this is, you're arching your back a little bit. See if you can also maintain the navel just draws in a little bit and your lower abdomen is involved. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale, and 1 last time. Okay, great, and bend your knees, step or hop up to the front of the mat. Inhale, come part way up, pubic bone back, lungs forward. Exhale, you can refold. And as you come up, you're gonna keep the navel drawn in a little bit, pubic bone, just a tiny lift, but also lifting your lower back. So they're both sort of squeezing you in and up. And exhale, palms to heart center and by your sides. And let's do sun salutation A twice more. Deep breath in, arms overhead. Exhale, pubic bone back, you forward fold. Your lungs go forward as you inhale, take a deep breath in. And then as you step or jump back to plank, navel's in and pubic bone's actually going forward. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, lower halfway down or all the way down. Tops of feet on the floor. Pubic bone leads the way forward as you inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, and then exhale, pubic bone lift into downward facing dog. And a couple breaths here. Navel supportive. Arching the back is dominant here, but you can also feel the pubic bones like magnetized toward belly button. And take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you can step or jump up to the top of the mat. Once you land there, inhale, lengthen through spine, take a deep breath in. Exhale, you forward fold. And as you come up to Urdhva Tadasana, arms sweep up overhead, navel's in a little, pubic bone's up, pubic bone lifts, and the back of your spine is supported at the same time. All right, 1 more sun salutation A, take a deep breath in, and then pubic bone back, forward fold. Inhale, you lengthen spine forward, lungs go forward. Exhale as you step or jump back into plank, navel's in and pubic bone's traveling forward. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower halfway down or all the way down. Pubic bone leads the way into upward facing dog. And then pubic bone leads the way into downward facing dog. All right, great. Yeah, lift your upper thighs back, lift your pubic bone back. And even though the lower back muscles are dominant to try to keep your spine with its natural curves, deep breathing, there's also, it's almost like a hot air balloon in lower abdomen. It's like lifting up and supporting it from underneath. 2 more breaths. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And 1 last time, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, step or hop up to the top of your mat. Inhale, you lengthen spine forward, take a deep breath in. Exhale, you lower. And then glutes down, draw your navel in, pubic bone lifts up just a bit, and exhale from there. Palms to heart center, in by your sides. Okay, great. So next pose is Warrior 2. I'm now going to mirror you, so if you're looking at me, please step your right foot to the top of the mat. I'm going to step my left foot, but you step your right foot forward. Back heel goes fairly far back, and you're going to bend your front knee over your knee, adjust your stance so that feels doable, attainable. All right, great. So now the legs are doing rather different things. See if you can draw your navel in and have the pubic bone lift up here. It's going to be a lot more dynamic for the hips, is like what I hope, because there's now that the hips, the thigh bones are doing different things. As you lift your pubic bone up and draw your lower back in at the same time, is just a different kind of structure for the hips. And as you draw your navel in, pubic bone lifts a little bit. Hopefully your lungs get a little lighter. And you can take your arms out to the sides. All right. Eyes over the front fingers if that feels like a good balance. Now drive your feet through the floor. So feet are driving down. And as you're breathing, two things have to happen almost opposite at the same time. Your lower back squeezes in a little bit, and your belly squeezes in a little bit, and pubic bone lifts. And see if that feels like decent support through hips and lower back. My hope is it feels like the upper body is almost like buoyed on top of water, like you're floating on top of water. So legs and lower abs are doing the work. Upper body light. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. Hands onto hip pointers. Keep lifting the pubic bone as you straighten your right leg. We're just going to switch on the mat like this. So now your left toes are pointing to the other side of the mat. And so you can keep that lift of navel, pubic bone. You can feel it in your hip pointers as you send your left knee out to the left. Okay, so Virabhadrasana 2 over here on the other side. All right, so again, I'm going to ask you to do two almost sort of paradoxic things. To draw the top of your sacrum in a little bit, but to also draw your belly in and lift your pubic bone up toward it. So it's basically one sort of supporting you from the back, one supporting you from the front. Really, in a lot of our poses, the only way to go is up. And hence there's that Uddiyana, there's that lift from lower abdomen, through the lungs, through the head. And then you're going to take your arms out to the sides. All right, yeah. Eyes can be on the ground, straight ahead, past your left arm. But explore, almost tinker with drawing your low back in and drawing your pubic bone up at the same time. And feel that engagement, the extra structure around your hips through a lumbar spine. And all that structure should feel like now the lungs are like floating like on water. It's almost like we're kind of like shoulder deep in like warm water. Arms are kind of floating, head's floating, lungs are floating. A lot of good work is being done here to help fly up. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And one last time, breath in. Okay, hands onto hip pointers. You're going to keep the hip pointers lifting as you straighten the legs, come back to center. And this time we're going to turn the right foot forward. This is now warrior 1. You might have to adjust your stance a little bit on this. Okay? So warrior 1, ultimately the front knee is bent, but what I'd like you to do is straighten your front leg for a moment, back heel down, and then draw your navel in and lift your pubic bone up a little. So my hope is that feels like it's almost like a breath of fresh air. It's like, the lungs are nice and long. So navel draws in, pubic bone, which means your hip pointers lift a little bit. Keep on lifting all the way through the fingertips, and you keep that lift as you bend your front knee, press your hips forward. Okay? The hips are gonna prone to go into warrior 2. So with your right foot forward, you're gonna rotate your hips, left hip forward, right hip back a little bit, but the hips as an ensemble press forward. All right, and then you draw your belly in, pubic bone lifting, so that your legs and your hips are doing a lot of work. Lower abdomen has structure. The upper body just flies upward. And 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. Take a deep breath in. Okay, exhale. Hands back to hip pointers. You can feel the hip pointers lifting as you extend your right leg. We're going to switch sides. So your left toes are pointing to the other side of your mat. Back heel down, the toes can be out to the side there. And then from here, again, we straighten the leg to start. Draw your navel in, pubic bone lifts up, which means you feel your hip pointers lift. That should feel like it's a breath of fresh air up along through the lungs and through the head. All right, keep that lift, you keep that engagement here, and as you exhale, press your hips forward. As you're pressing your hips forward, the tendency is for the hips to turn away from warrior 1. They don't have to face straight out, but as best you can, with your left foot forward is counterclockwise rotation of your hips. Okay? And navel's drawn in, pubic bones lifting. It's a lot more work for legs, hips, low back. You should feel like there's an upward draft through the front side of your spine, through your lungs. Head's light, the arms are reaching skyward. And there's 3-4 more breaths here. Navel in, pubic bone lifting toward navel. Very good. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hands to hip pointers. Keep your hip pointers lifting as you straighten the leg, and you're going to turn your toes to the side of the mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Okay. So those last two poses were a lot of lift of front body. Wide-legged forward fold, of course, tacks the other way. So you're going to arch, bend your knees a little bit if you'd like. Arch your back, pubic bone slides back. And you can take your hands either to a block, if you need that, or the floor, if you'd like that. And from here, now you can round the spine, drive your feet through the floor, and lift your pubic bone and sitting bones up toward the ceiling. So similar to downward facing dog, we'll get some length in the lower abdomen. And even though your back body is dominating the structure here, you can still draw your navel in a little and energetically pubic bone toward belly. Not so much that it dominates so that you round the spine sort of awkwardly. You're still, back body's doing most of the work. Your spinal erectors are doing most of the work to keep your inward curve of your lumbar spine there. But there's a hint of the opposite. And another few breaths here. And my hope is that it feels like the legs are doing a lot of work, hips, lower abdomen's doing a lot of work. The upper body's actually just sort of reaping the benefits of that structure. And twice more. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. And one last time, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. So you bend your knees, hands onto hips, keep your navel drawn in, and now as you lift the pubic bone up, lungs kind of come up effortlessly, and exhale, bend your knees, heel toe yourself together, take a tada. All right. Great. So we're going to be standing on one leg through a couple variations. We're going to start with standing on right foot, and again, I'm mirroring you. So I'll be on my left foot, but you'll be on your right foot. So if you need some wall space or you want a hand on furniture, have it so that your right hand is on the wall or on furniture for the balance assist. Okay? And so from Tadasana, you gently draw your sacrum in a little, you draw your belly in, lift your pubic bone up a little. You keep that almost like stately sort of upward draft as you shift your weight over to your right foot. Right hand can be on wall or furniture. And then from here, you're going to keep that lift. So this is your lower abdominal doing that lifting, and we're going to add the psoas to draw your left knee up. Okay, so this is now both lower abdominal, lower back muscles, the erectors, and your psoas is mostly in charge of lifting your left leg. Okay, so right hand can stay on your hip pointer, so you can feel that lift. Left arm, if you'd like, you reach it up overhead, and you breathe several times here. So you can think of this almost as like a variation of Warrior One. Like down your left side, this should feel a lot like Warrior One. And 2 or 3 more breaths here. Yeah, lift your lungs up a little higher. All right, great. Hands back onto hip pointers. Keep the pubic bone lifting as you guide your leg back. Samasthitahi equals standing between feet. All right, and you keep that structural support so it's firmament around hips, lightness in the lungs, and we transfer the weight over to your left foot. So if you're using wall or furniture, turn around so your left hand can be there for balance. Okay? You're going to drive your left foot through the floor until you don't need your right leg. You can draw your sacrum in, of course, so there's some lower back firmament, but also navel in and pubic bone up, which you can feel in your hip pointers. And then from there, so you keep that abdominal work happening. Keep it going. Breathe a lot. And then on exhale, you draw your right knee in and up. Okay? So left hand either is helping you support, or you can monitor the lift of pyramidalis. Right arm can reach up toward the ceiling. And several breaths here. So at this point, we're negotiating a whole bunch of muscle groups. It's your lower back muscles engaging, and your belly engaging, pubic bone lifting, and the psoas is doing good work to lift your right knee up. And all that structure here, my hope is it feels like it just flies up through the crown of head, through your right fingertips. Breathe 2 or 3 more times. Okay, great. And then from here, hands onto hip pointers. Keep that engagement in abdomen even as you come back to Samastitihi. Equal standing or mountain pose. Very good. And come up to the top of the mat. We'll do a sun salutation to downward facing dog. So you're up at the top. All right. Take a deep breath in. Pubic bone lifts to lift the lungs. And then pubic bone sweeps back. So lower back is dominant and the forward fold. Inhale, you come forward a little bit. And then from here, as you step or float back to plank, you're going to slide your pubic bone forward and take a breath here. Exhale, lower halfway down or all the way down. Pubic bone leads the way into upward facing dog or cobra. And then pubic bone leads the way into downward facing dog. Very good. And 3 breaths here. Take an inhale. Exhale. Breath in. Big exhale. And one last time. Okay, great. Come to hands and knees, and let's come around to seated with our legs out in front. All right. So legs out in front. If you feel like you need some support, if it really feels like you're dropping back here and you can't find that sort of equilibrium between abdominal muscles and your erectors, feel free to bend the knees a little bit. Okay. So from here, you're gonna draw the top of your sacrum in. Okay. That helps lift you up, of course. And then the firmament on the front is draw belly in a little bit, and it's not like you're gonna lift the pubic bone. It's more like you just can engage the muscles without your hips moving. So there's almost a lift from the back and a lift from the front, and so the lungs feel light in that way. Okay? And then from here, your right leg's going to be forward, left foot comes into inner thigh. For Janu Shirshasana, inhale, there's the lift, it's a bit of a twist of belly, and then exhale, you're going to fold down your right leg. Hands can be on thigh, shins, you can use the strap if you'd like. And as you press your heels forward, press your right heel forward, try to slide your sitting bones back a little bit. And you keep that tilt forward and draw your navel in a little bit. You don't have to move the pubic bone, but the engagement's there to help lift the lungs. And if you'd like, you can round your spine. There's not much space to breathe in the front body, so you can breathe into back body. A few more times here. All right, great. And you can use your back body to arrive upright. Take a deep breath in. And you extend both legs forward. Bend your knees a little bit to get that parity of back, the parity, like equalness of the back lift and the front body lift. You can extend your legs if you'd like. All right, great. We'll keep our left leg forward, right foot inward, and we're taking Janu Shirshasana on the other side. So as the lift, you feel that lift, you feel a little bit of a twist to the left, and you're gonna fold down your left leg. Okay, so the dominant move is the sitting bones sliding back to tilt forward. Okay, but you can also draw your navel in and then energetically lift the pubic bone up toward the navel. All right, and my hope is that support from both the back and the front feel like it kind of blossoms the lungs. If you'd like, you can round your spine. If this leg is tighter, notice it. If it's more open, notice it. In general, you can press your heels forward, open toes. And see if you can maintain the structure in hips and lower abdomen so that the upper body feels sort of flown up and out, so upward flying. And there's a few more breaths here. All right. Great. So from here, you can use your back body to arrive upright. Again, take Dandasana. Equal lift from back and from front. Take a deep inhale here. And big exhale. Okay, so right foot stays forward. The left foot's gonna come onto the floor. And you don't have to change direction. I'm gonna change direction for demonstration purposes. So right leg's forward, the left foot comes in. What I like to do first is see if we can reach forward. And option number one is to just hold this here. So left foot's on the ground, your left arm reaches to the inside of your leg, and you're gonna hold your right leg somewhere. And that's how you're gonna forward fold in Marichiasana A. Option number two, if you can reach, you can round your spine enough, and that includes the drawing of the belly and lifting of the pubic bone. If you're able to wrap your left arm around your leg, you can do that. Your right arm wraps around, and I happen to be able to hold my hands. But if you can't hold your hands, just bridge the gap with the strap. So I would reach around and hold the strap like this. Okay? So either this is option number one, you reach forward. Option number two or three is you bind with a strap or without a strap. Okay, so everyone's here. So we're rounding the spine. Right leg, press the heel forward. And then from here, navel draws in, pubic bone lifts, pubic bone lifts, pubic bone lifts. And you can send your lungs forward on this one. So this is a much more aggressive rounding of the spine. Okay, make sure this feels okay for all the bones, hips, sacrum, low back. And it might be tempting to kind of let go of the belly, but see if you can engage it because we're going to start to use it a lot more in our arm balances. So 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, take a big exhale, and one last time, breath in. All right, great. So from here, if you're in the bind, undo the bind, keep your navel in. You can reach your arms up toward the ceiling and extend your legs forward. Yeah, lengthen from both the back and the front, and then exhale from there, release. And let's switch sides. I'm going to switch directions for demonstration purposes. Left foot forward, right foot comes in. All right, and option number one. So my right knee is inward. I'm going to take my right arm to the inside of the leg and hold the straight leg somewhere. And if you're here, that's fine. You can still do all those cues that we've been rehearsing like the whole time. Not rehearsing, practicing. We're doing it. So you're going to reach forward. This is option number one. Option number two is you take your right arm around the leg, left arm around the back, and if you can find the strap behind you, it might take a couple tries, but you're there. Okay, so that's the bind with the strap. You can also just let the whole thing go if you can hold fingers, interlace fingers. All right, and then from here, you're going to round your spine, press that heel forward. Left leg is the heel's driving forward. And as you're going forward, draw your navel in, and the pubic bone lifts. So your lower abdomen's doing a fair amount of work. And my hope is it feels like your lungs can go a little further forward. Now there's a lot of work being done up front, so there's not a lot of place to put breath. So I would say put it behind you, breathe into your kidneys, or even like you're breathing into like more thoracic breath, like the rib cage itself, the rib basket. But yeah, navel's drawing in, pubic bones lifting, heart kind of gets carted forward. And there's 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And one last time. Okay, great. So if you're in the bind, release the bind. Keep that lifting and fly upward, both from the back body and the front body at the same time. And extend the bent leg forward. Come into a Dandasana. So you lift up through the lungs are light. And exhale from there, release. Okay, great. So that's sort of what's happening in our first arm balance on one side, Bakasana. You basically do that on both sides. Here's what it looks like. And I'm using the block. You'll see why in a second. But the block is basically to give you confidence if you're not used to being on your hands. Of course, there's always like a level of fear involved, which is very rational because you don't want to hurt your head. The block could be here. If you also want to put just a ton of pillows in front of you, you can do that too. But with your hands on the ground, you see how now my arms are to the inside of my legs? You're going to squeeze your legs into your arms. Drive your hands through the floor. And then you start to tilt weight forward. Now, so of course I can always take my head on the block. And from here, I drive my hands through the floor like in plank. And I'm going to draw my navel in, and then the pubic bone lifts to press my mid back up, and then my back arches to try to lift my feet off the floor. Okay? So this is Bakasana. I'm going to remove the block because I don't feel like I need it, but the hands are pressing down, pubic bones lifting up toward belly, belly up toward the sky, and you keep that engagement as you lift your sitting bones up. So there's not a lot that's not working here. Face stays relaxed, tongue's relaxed. And then as you exhale, come out of that. You can move your wrists around. A couple times in one direction, a couple times in the other direction. Okay, great. So that's Bakasana. Lolasana. This is where if you have 2 blocks, you have a bit more options. But Lolasana means that Lola is like a pendant in Sanskrit. Lolasana can start, you lean back a little bit, cross your shins, and from here you're going to draw your navel in, lift your pubic bone up, and your hands come to the floor. So this is where you can work. You're doing all that belly work here, squeezing your legs toward one another, and you can just stay here. This is Lolasana, option number 1. Option number 2 is you just lean forward. Now this is your upper abdomen doing work as well as lower abdomen and psoas, and you can add more weight into your hands, and if it's available, see if you can lift your hips up off the floor, and you come back down. I can't demonstrate and do that at the same time. So, but it's your psoas, lower abdomen, upper abdomen through the floor. And I come down. If you have blocks, you can get a little bit of height and give yourself a little bit of a break. You're not working Any less, you're just making it a little more available to lift the feet off the ground. You can press the blocks into the floor. Draw your knees in, draw your belly in, pubic bone in, upper abdomen rounds, and you push into the floor like this. Okay? All right, so another 15 seconds. Have fun with that. If you want to switch your legs, other shins in front, you squeeze psoas in, belly in, pubic bone in, get all these muscles working. Upper abdomen helps get some weight into your hands, and you can lift for a breath or two. And then exhale, come back down. All right. Great. So you can take a wide-legged forward fold. If you need to do some wrist circles, do that. But we are done with the arm balances. All right. Okay, so we're here, seated, wide-legged forward fold. And we're first going to work on the stretch. So one hand in front, one hand in back. From here, you can slide the sitting bones back, which means the muscles in the back dominate, and you can arch your back a little bit. And that'll slide the sitting bones back. And if you'd like to, you can turn belly to the right, fold to the right, pause here a moment. And then inhale, arrive upright, both sides lift so the lungs are light. Roll your belly to the left, fold down your left leg. And then come up and to center, your sitting bones back. You can lean forward. If it doesn't feel like you can lean forward, just take your hands behind you and lift your lungs up. And you should get a fair amount of stretch here. But if you can come forward, go ahead and do that. Now, regardless of where you are, this is the final big engagement that we've been studying. From here, or from here, you're going to draw your navel in. And then from here, your navel draws in, and then pubic bone lifts up toward navel. And you see how that now there's more weight into sitting bones. My hope is to feel like there's less weight into legs. From here, you can press your hands into the ground. Upper abdomen can be involved in this too, but you're going to press your heels out. And as best you can, the pubic bone lifts and the psoas gets involved. See if you can lift your legs just a little bit off the floor. And exhale, come back down. If your heels are just getting lighter, that's fine, and we'll try that one more time. So your hands can be here, and you can try to lift. If you want to get the upper abdomen involved, if you can, hands in front of you, and the navel draws in, pubic bone lifts, upper abdomen, so you can press your hands into the floor a little bit, and psoas really engages to lift your legs. Okay, very good. Gather legs. All right, very nice. Okay, so that was a lot of work for legs up through low back. We're going to release it. But notice it and see if you can find that sort of equal lift here at like a 10% effort. We've been doing close to 100%, I think, especially the second half of this practice. Just 10%, and so the flying upward doesn't have to be like fireworks. It can almost be like a sigh of relief. So it's not as explosive, it's just a relief. Great. Mrityasana C. Keep your left leg straight. Bend your right knee and place your foot on the floor. You can draw both your the back of your spine up, and also you can lift up belly, and then exhale, you're going to twist past your leg. Right hand behind you, left hand can hug the knee in. And as you inhale, you sort of inhale that sort of sigh of relief, like lightness, and then exhale, see if there's any twist. And try that a few times. This is really the only twist we're doing today. So even though a lot of other body parts are warmed up, the twist we haven't done a ton. So you can take it easy on the twist. We're also winding down to final relaxation. Very good. And then you de-rotate, take your right leg forward. Right leg stays straight. Switch legs. So your left foot's flat on the floor. You can lift both behind your spine and your lower abdomens. So it's like the slightly upward sort of lightness in the lungs. Exhale, you twist. You can take your left hand behind you, right hand around thigh. Then you inhale, you can work on that like gusting upward, and exhale, you can work on the twist. And 2 more breaths. All right. Great. And then release from there. Have your strap at the ready, have a block at the ready, and ultimately this pose, if it doesn't work on the block, if it doesn't feel okay for your hips, you can do the pose Supta Padangusthasana 1 on the floor. But I'll take the lowest level today. You can take the lowest level or a medium level. And I go wide to support the sacrum. I'll take the strap around my right foot and take the right leg up in the air. And then I extend my other leg. My left leg goes forward. So this gives some length to the muscles that we've been engaging the whole practice on our left side. So right leg is up, left heel presses forward, and that lengthens the quad, lengthens the psoas, also lengthens lower abdominal muscles. So you can breathe into your lower abdomen. And let's take that twice more. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. And one last. Great. And then as you exhale, you can place your right foot on the floor. Strap around your left foot, left leg up in the air. Okay. And as you press your left heel up, you can slide your right heel forward along the ground. Okay, so left leg, the back of the legs, of course, getting a lovely stretch. You can keep some energy in your left leg. Right heel, as you press it forward, the musculature that we've been working on this whole time now gets a chance to release, relax, let go. So you can feel the length through right quad, right psoas, and the right side of our lower abdomen. And breathe into your lower abdomen. And one last time here, take a deep breath in. Okay, great. From here you can place both feet on the floor. You can place the strap by your side. And then feet together, knees wide. For one last big release of thighs, hips, and lower abdomen before final relaxation. So take another breath or two into lower abdomen. All right, great. And then place your feet flat on the floor. Engage your glutes to support your SI joint. And as you lift your hips, block comes out of the way. Lower your hips down. And relax your legs out into a final relaxation. So you're on the floor. If you need to add support under your especially thighs, we do a lot of work with the low back today. So if the lower back feels sensitive, place a bolster, blanket, pillow, some prop underneath thighs. And really let the upper thighs drop toward the floor. Relax all the muscles around the head of the femur, your hip socket, and allow the head of your femur to relax into the back of your hip sockets. Relax the muscles across your hips from left to right, from front to back. And notice the remnants of all the activity that we've worked with today. And relax into that warmth, that experience, that softness. And let that softness, like instead of flying upward toward the lungs, almost like it's fog. Just let the softness of your hips and lower abdomen fog its way up through the upper abdomen. Foggy relaxation through lungs, through neck, arms, and head. As you continue softening, if you'd like to notice your navel center, subtle activity, subtle warmth around the solar plexus, abdomen really the power center of our system, where our food gets digested, kidneys, filtration centers. Notice all the subtle energy in the belly. Very good. So from here, start taking some slightly deeper inhales and deeper exhales. And start to infuse your torso with this light awakening of the breath. And guide your next inhale through your hips, down your legs, into your feet. And guide another inhale through shoulders, down your arms, into your palms. And guide a breath into your brain, dust off your brain. And exhale down your face. All right, great. And then please draw one knee into your chest. Give your knee a good hug and sweep a breath across your low back. And then switch legs. Other knee draws in. Take a deep breath across your low back. Okay, and both knees draw in. Take an inhale here. You roll over to one side. Pause on your side for a moment. Notice how it feels to change orientation after a brief period of stillness. And then with as little effort as possible, come up to a comfortable seat. Cross-legged or otherwise. And for the last minute of our practice, we've done strong work with both sides of our lumbar spine and both sides of our hips. With as little effort as possible, draw your navel in, 3% effort. Draw the top of your sacrum and low back in, 3% effort. And feel the lift of pubic bone. So there's a gentle supportive structure through lower abdomen. And notice this, any gentle updraft through the lungs, through the back of your skull. Almost like a mountain thermal. Like when the sun warms up the side of a mountain and the warmer air sort of glides up the side of the mountain. And hawks and falcons sort of drift around on that mountain thermal all day. Okay. Very good. Well, I hope this was fun, vitalizing, energizing, sunny, and thank you for your practice. Stay well. Namaste.